Hey, we're here to show you how to install the motor wiring kit on the Pursuit. All right, we're going to give you a quick rundown on the tools that are going to be necessary to install the motor wiring kit on your Pursuit. First off, we've got a 1-inch hole saw. This is going to be really optimal for installing the plugs into your boat. We've got a set of wire strippers, cutters, and crimpers. If you don't have the combo tool like this, getting a second pair of just clippers or crimpers, whatever you have on hand. We also have a Phillips head screwdriver. Got a Sharpie for marking your ports. Got a measuring tape for measuring stuff. And then we have a power drill with a number 2 Phillips bit. And then we also have a heat gun, which is going to be used for shrinking the heat shrink. And if you don't have a fancy heat gun like this, a lighter, a barbecue lighter will work just as well. All right, the first step that you're going to need to do when installing your motor wire kit is going to be locating where your plugs are going to go. A couple things to know on the bow of the Pursuit. You really got to take a note of what accessories you have on your boat, really let you figure out where you're going to put it. One of the most optimal spots to put it is going to be anywhere in this front tank well area section. It's going to work well with just about everything. If you are trying to use the console, which we used to be formerly the slide drawer, it will inhibit you using that, so you may have to install this on a flat surface, which we don't necessarily recommend. It'll still work, but under those heavy raining conditions, you may find out may not perform as well. These plugs are not waterproof, they are watertight, so just keep that in mind when you're locating in the first place. So we're going to go ahead and show you where to locate it on this shear wall here. We're going to assume that we're not going to be using a slide drawer on here because it's going to be the most optimal place to put it. So one thing to keep in mind when you're locating your plug in the front is I like to grab the battery box, just kind of give you a reference of where the plugs are going to be. This would be if you're setting up a transom mount. We'll go over the setup for if you're running a bow mount. What I like to do for my own personal setup, what may be different for you, is I like to position the box, almost all the way to the front. Basically, we're going to be putting the plug all the way up to the front. So what we're going to do is kind of just place the box where we're at here, kind of mark right where it's going to go into the battery over here. And then we'll just measure about half the distance on this wall here. Go ahead and scribe our mark fairly far forward, just to leave space for any other accessories you may need. Okay, now we got the front marked out location for our plug. We're gonna go ahead and mark out the location in the back. Kind of what I said in the beginning, we're kind of doing this as if you're gonna do a bow mount or a trolling mount setup, which is really gonna work either way. So again, a really good spot you wanna put is any one of these kind of shear walls here. I'm going to go ahead and locate it back in this tank well area. For the sole reason it's going to be all the way back, so if you have a cooler or any other tackle in the back, it's still going to be clear and free of any of the stuff you're using. So I'm just going to place the box, fairly close to the end of the tank well here. And again, just kind of seeing line right in front of the box. Wires are going to come up through here, so I'll just kind of mark with my hand here. And then again, we'll measure half the distance up this wall here. Just mark it with the Sharpie, and that's going to be the location for our rear plug. All right, now we got our bow and stern end plugs marked out. We are ready to drill it out. So go ahead and take your power drill, put your 1-inch hole saw in there, and then just go ahead and drill out where your X is here. Nice thing about the 1-inch drill bit is it makes a really nice tight fit for this. Makes it pretty much watertight. And then you always just check and fit first. Know that the flapper is always going to be the top side. So let's go ahead and test our fit. And we got a really nice snug fit. All right, now that we got the stern end drilled out, we're going to go ahead and drill out the bow end. All right, now that you got your bow and stern end plugs located and drilled out, the next step is going to be to feed the wires through the hull of the boat. Now on the Pursuit, it's going to be a little bit more tricky than the Frontier. We do have 3 foam blocks. You got one on the outside, one in the middle, and then one on the opposite side. So it's going to make it a little bit more tricky fishing it through the boat. So what I like to do, if you got something on hand, something similar like this flexible fiberglass rod, works really well, which I'm going to demonstrate in a minute. Just got it taped to the end. If you don't have something like this, something as simple as just a measuring tape will really allow you to help just feed it through on the outside of the foam blocks or in between. Basically just give you the best line path all the way through. So we're going to go ahead and start from the stern end and work our way forward. So that's just going to give us a lot more of an open end with the hatch, be able to reach up in there if you don't get it all the way there. Okay, real life situation, it didn't feed through as well as I wanted to, so realistic idea that you have to do. Sometimes you do have to pull those foam blocks out. I had to pull this bar one on this outside to get it through, but now we were able to fish it through, and now we've got it all the way through here as well. So now that we've got our excess wire here, we're just gonna go back and feed it through your bow hole. All right, now that we got our bow and stern holes marked and drilled, we've got the wires fished through. Next thing we're gonna do is actually install the ports onto the boat. So first thing you're gonna wanna do is go ahead and strip your black and your red wire from the wire that you fished through. What I like to do now is I like to put the heat shrink over the wires now before I actually crimp these things on. Just makes it a little bit easier. So we'll go ahead and crimp our connectors on to the black and red wires. Now we'll go ahead and connect our plug to the same connectors here. All right, now we got these crimped. We're just gonna go ahead and pull the heat shrink over the connectors. And then last thing will be to mount the port actually to the boat. Now just keep in mind that the flapper, you want the flapper to be in the up position. So we'll go ahead and feed our wires through. Insert the plug. And then go ahead and secure it with 2 of the provided self-tapping screws. All right, now you got the stern plug installed. Next thing is going to be to install the bow plug. So little trick, what I like to do, just go ahead and give your cord a little tug, and when you feel it taut, just go ahead and let loose. That's just naturally going to lay it down where it's going to go, and I'll show you what we're going to do with this excess cord later. So you can just go ahead and give your wires a snip right there. And then we'll go ahead and repeat the same process for mounting the front plug as we did the rear plug. All right, with the remaining length of wire that you have left for your black and red, it's gonna be to hook up your circuit breaker to your battery. So I've already previously installed this, so I'll just kind of show you what I did here. So in your hardware pack that you have, you've got a couple different items in it. You've got your circuit breaker, which has one brass terminal. That brass terminal is gonna be the wire that goes actually to your battery, and the other terminal will be the red that goes to your plug. You have 2 3/8 terminal connectors here. This will be what actually will connect to your battery. And then you have 2 1/4-inch terminals. This will connect to your circuit breaker. And then we have an extra splice connector. This is basically given to you guys just in case in the previous steps if you made a mistake. Crimping one of the connectors on just kind of gave you an extra one just in case. And then we have 2 different options of mounting the circuit breaker to the box. You have the quick and easy way, simple, just self-tapping screw, just screw this directly into the box, or is what we've done here. We've also provided a bolt, a lock nut, and a washer, so the more secure way may take you just a step longer. So coming in, seeing what we're doing here, we have our circuit breaker installed here. We have one short wire, red wire that we cut. We installed 1 3/8 and 1 1/4-inch terminal on both ends, so we'll connect the red to your circuit breaker here, and then use your remaining red wire to connect to your plug here, and then do the same with the black. Connect the 3/8 black terminal, and also you'll be connecting that to your plug end here. So with your excess wire, it allows you to make all these attachments here. So the box, we've got it placed here. So when you actually get it all installed, you see I put the circuit breaker in line with where the opening of the battery box is. So when it closes up, just makes a nice, clean, smooth set. You know, you can position this where you want. You can shorten the cords as much as you want, but just as a general rule of thumb, you can just kind of do whatever length fits your boat. All right, now the final step is going to be installing your plug onto either motor that you're using. We're showing the transom mount, but basically follow these same steps if you're doing the bow mount. So the remaining thing is you just go ahead and clip whatever terminal connectors you had on the end of your wire of your motor, and then just go ahead and install the remaining plug with the remaining 2 connectors and the remaining heat shrink. And when you've done that, you're all ready to go. Just simply plug it in and away you go.